not shaking. Hey, I'm Rick Jordan, and today we're going all in. Today's going to be some rapid fire because I'm going to hit you with a bunch of different things that you've probably been thinking about, and you've seen maybe some of these things around social, whatever, and I've curated some of this for you, some things that I do to help you move through a lot of things that you need to this year. Because I love this because it's like a fresh start, right? And these aren't resolutions, these aren't anything like that, because if it's a resolution, I guarantee you're going to fall off the wagon here in just a couple of days. I mean, we've always looked at the data on that in past years, and that's why I hate them. It's like you can start this stuff any time of year, but now's as good of a time as any, really. Okay? We've talked about a couple of these things in the past, but not in this amount of depth. And I'm going to give you some ways to continue to move through this year, some things that are really pressing upon me right now, too. That's why I want to share these with you, because when I talk about these things, sometimes it's things that I'm going through myself, that I'm taking a good, honest look at myself on and saying, what do I want to set for discipline here right now? You know, and I think it was Abraham Lincoln who said that, you know, discipline is the difference between choosing what you want now and what you want for good, right? The difference between what you want now and what you want for the rest of your life is real discipline, the consistency that comes with that, because it's making those choices between immediate gratification or fulfillment for the rest of your life. That's the difference here in the discipline. So the first area of discipline that I want you to pick up this year is set your sleep schedule. And when I say set your sleep schedule, this has nothing to do with going to bed at the same time every night. I don't care what everybody tells you and all that. The difference that it makes is the time that you get up in the morning. And you have to make sure that you get up at the same time every single day. I'm not saying when you have to catch a flight early or something like that, which happens a lot of times to me that you can't adjust it, but 99% of the time, get your butt up at the same time every morning. Okay, if you need to get more sleep at some points, go to bed early. That's the quick fix for that. This sleeping in thing will keep you in bed and make you drowsy. When you set this up, this is the discipline that I'm talking about. When you set yourself up for success every single day, when you set yourself up to crush and win every single day, you start out the same every single day. So whatever time that means for you, for me, it's 6 a.m. You know, and who cares about these people that like get up at 4, get up at 5, you know, Steve Jobs started in the morning at 3:30. That's great. That's him. That's not me. And that might not be you. It probably isn't you. You know, like, oh, we get ahead of the world because we get the jump start on everything. Do what's right for you, because the only thing that matters, and this is probably what mattered for them too, is because they were consistently disciplined with the same time every single day. They set up their routine. It can be at 3:30, it can be at 5, it can be at 7, whatever it is, the time that you set up for yourself, the only difference is that it has to be consistent. That's the first discipline, is set yourself up for the same time to wake up every single day. You need a little more sleep, you go to bed earlier. That's the simplicity of it. Okay, the second thing that I want you to do this year is quit your excuses and work out for 30 minutes every day. You know, if you want a day off, you can do like me. Remember what I was just saying in number 1 is do what's best for you, but you need a certain amount of time. So if it's 30 minutes a day, you're talking 3.5 hours a week. For me, it's 3 to 4 workouts a week from between an hour to an hour and 15 minutes each. That's how I still get in my time, which would equate to 30 minutes a day. But I take the rest days because of how I work out. I feel that it does my body better this way when I have time to rest my sore muscles because I just lifted the previous day. That's for me. I'm on a day, off a day, on a day, off a day, on a day, on a day. And then I start over again, right? It's 3 to 4 workouts a week for me, around an hour to an hour and 15 minutes each. It varies, but I still get in the time overall. That's what makes the difference. So for you, it might be okay to be like, sure, I can put together 30 minutes a day. I can put together my morning routine because now I'm getting up at the same time every single day. And now I can just schedule that 30 minutes in. That's awesome. Go for it. If you want to do like me to where it's like an hour and 15 minutes because you're doing some lifting, do that instead. Whatever works for you, as long as you get in this time and make it part of your disciplined, consistent, and persistent routines. Okay, you just have to get the physical movement going. That's the big thing here, is you have to move your body. That's what keeps you healthy. That's what allows you to burn calories. That's what allows you to build muscle so you can burn more calories and eliminate the fat, is just freaking doing it. That's it. You have to move. All right. Number 3 I want to give you, and this one's important. This one's super, super important. Now, for me, I set aside time every single week on a day to spend about a half a day for this stuff, to where it's just a creative time or it's a learning a skill time. What you can do and what a lot of people will do is set aside an hour a day. This could be like at the end of your workday. And I always say, in order to build a great habit, a great routine, tie it to something else you're already doing. So if you're done at work, let's say at 5, maybe it's an hour from 5 to 6 every day. If you can set your schedule to where you have different blocks of time, which I do during the week, for me, it's more like a Friday morning or a Friday afternoon that I set aside multiple hours to go through this stuff rather than an hour a single day. Again, it's what works best for you. But the point is that you have to set this aside to learn a new skill, to consume the right information, or to just dream. The dreaming part will actually build upon those other areas and give you direction towards accomplishing whatever it is that you want in life. You have to set this time aside to dream, learn a new skill, consume some content that you never have before. It's freaking brilliant. You won't recognize yourself 6 months from now when you start doing this. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. All right, so that was the first 1, 2, and 3 that we have there. The next one, and I mean, you can look on my Instagram page, they're like the 2 top pinned posts that are on there about drinking water. Because in order to do all this, you have to fuel your body. Yeah. First thing when you get up in the morning, have 2 glasses of water. I'm talking 2 16-ounce glasses of water. Even if you just do that and don't do all the other stuff that I do when it comes to hydration, that will also change your life, because dehydration from alcohol, from activity, from the salt that you eat and most of the foods that you're probably consuming throughout the day, this will set you up to just have more energy for yourself to do all of these things that I just talked about, especially the one just prior, as far as actually setting aside that time to dream. These are things that you've got to do, and water intake goes hand in hand with a lot of this stuff. All right, the 5th one I have for you here. This one's beautiful. This one's freaking awesome. And when I started doing this, because obviously I talk a lot, right? I've got a podcast. I'm a CEO. I coach people both inside my company and outside my company all the live long day. So I do a lot of talking. But when I find out the most information on how to direct them, or even actually when I have a guest on this show, I do a lot less talking. I do a lot more listening. Start to make a conscious effort to actually change how you interact with conversations. And instead of listening to respond, begin to just listen to ask more questions, to dive deeper. So instead of listening to respond to something, listen to formulate another question so that that individual can actually go deeper. This is amazing for relationships. It's amazing for people that work for you. It's amazing for your peers. It's amazing for friendships. It's amazing for making new friends. People love to talk about themselves. And it's awesome because you can show that you really care about somebody when you actually ask more questions. So this entire year, just start to do that, because you can ask. Now, don't ask the whys. I hate the whys, right? I talked about that on a show before. What, how, when, and where? Those are the questions to focus on. You can always go in order, like literally that order. Like, well, if somebody says, man, I just, I think I'm going to go look for a new job. Well, it's like, well, how'd you decide that you want to go after a new job? Then they'll start to tell, work hasn't really been fulfilling me lately, or, I didn't get a bonus at Christmas, or whatever it is. All of these things are, I feel like I'm meant for more. Oh, really? Well, what do you think you're meant for? See how the questions can start to build on each other? You can really find the beauty in so many people when you just ask questions. So instead of responding, even if somebody's mad at you and they're saying, you never do this, you can ask the question, well, how do you see that going for me? And you can actually gain their perspective. Sometimes, no joke, It's going to be crazy. Okay, it's going to be skewed. They're probably making things up in their own head that aren't exactly true. That can happen sometimes. But sometimes it might just be a difference of perspective. And then you can actually see where that person's coming from and meet them halfway, or maybe just fulfill the request that they want of you. It's amazing when you start to listen to ask more questions. It'll change your conversations and completely change your relationships. These 5 things are what I want you to do this year. As you start to just shift your perspective on stuff, and you're not going to recognize yourself because you'll be able to learn people better. You'll be able to get more influence in your life. You'll be able to learn things that you've never learned before, to go after new things and make more money. You'll have the energy to do it because you're hydrating and you're sleeping well. How does that sound? Freaking awesome to me. That is going all in.